Now, how do you balance that, though, if you're kind of having to consider games that don't maybe have a proven competitive track record? How do you know that the fans and spectators are going to come out for those kinds of games, or is that not the point?
No, it is. It's very much part of the point. I think, like I said, I think it's a vetting out process. I mean, we do global polls on like what games should be there, so that helps us decide. For example, when we replaced Dead or Alive 4 with Virtua Fighter this year, it was as a result of the poll. The fans around the world, the competitive gamers and the gaming fans who played the fighting games, they all said Virtua Fighter. So we made a switch after many years with Dead or Alive, and it was one of our top registering games this year. So, we listen to the people, we listen to our community.
And what role does a publisher or a developer have in helping you guys choose which games you're going to play? Is there influence? I'm seeing Microsoft as a key sponsor here at this event. I'm also seeing a lot of Xbox 360 games. Is that a condition of Microsoft sponsorship? What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, playing on the Microsoft console, absolutely. That's a partnership deal with Microsoft. It says exclusive, console. But when it comes to the games, we take input from them, but we still go through our own process. Ultimately, World Cyber Games has the final say in what games are going to be played.
So, and I don't mean to, come off as insinuating or anything, but is it possible to assume a scenario in which possibly PlayStation 3 would have come in with a bigger bid and the whole lineup of games could have changed?
Yeah, that's possible, I guess. Sure, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Ultimately, this is still a business. So, you're in business with partners and stakeholders who all have the same agenda, wanting to see the property and the brand grow, and the tournament grow, and the festival grow. So, having that, having partners like that who are investing in what you're doing, that's important.
Now, back in 2005, we had an event in Italy, and there was.
Actually, yeah, 2006 was Italy.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
And we had a little bit of trouble. In the media, there was a rumor that was circulating around that that Samsung was less than pleased with the event in itself. Now, then we also saw a lot of changes also that year in executive management.
At World Cyber Games, you mean?
Yes. So was there a correlation
Actually,
there?
The changes occurred prior to that event, for starters, and I think that was just a situation with, it's time for somebody to move on. That was, that was what that was. As far as that event goes, I think we've learned from that event. There are things that we've done very differently since that event. We had a very successful one in Singapore the year before that, and some of the things we did in Singapore didn't translate to Italian. So yeah, I mean, I think the biggest mistake with that event, and I think what people were unhappy about, is we made the mistake of making a lot of that event outdoors. We were at a racetrack. Conceptually, it seemed like a great idea, but it was never set up for, a cyber event, a 21st century event. It was a racetrack, and we learned from that, and we won't do an event like that again. Was it a total disaster? No. I mean, it was still a World Cyber Games. We still had a lot of people there. We still had some great stories and great competitions. But it's an evolution. Each year you learn from what you've been doing, and quite frankly, the World Cyber Games has been doing it bigger, better, and longer than anyone. And we continue to grow each year. More players, more competitors, more countries joining as member nations. So like I said, each grand final, each event we do, is an evolution and hopefully an improvement on what we've done before. So, I can't even speak to whether Samsung was pleased or displeased, because I think Samsung, like World Cyber Games itself, looked at that event as, a stepping stone along the path. So, you take the good with the bad on all these events. And, I've been in the event and marketing and media business for almost 20 years. You're always going to have ups and downs. It was still a great event. I would be lying if I didn't say it wasn't our best event ever, but it was a good event.
So that brings up an interesting question. By what standard do you measure yourself that an event has been a success? Is it the amount of money that you make from an event? Is it how well the tournaments are run? Or is it how many spectators come out? By what standard do you measure, this was a good event, we did a good job?
I think it's all of the above. I mean, any event is kind of a combination of all of the above that you just mentioned. I mean, for us, you know, media penetration and viewership. I mean, we had 30 million people watch our Seattle Grand Final last year on the internet. We had 12 million people watch it on Spike TV here in the United States. Those are big numbers. That's, you know, really what it's about. We're building a brand and a property that we want to connect that brand with people. So for us, you know, number one is, you know, getting more people to be aware of it, more people to participate. We set a new world record, according to Guinness last year, with 1.5 million competitors. You know, those are the things that, you know, we measure ourselves against. We're measuring ourselves against ourselves, really, each year.
So you're not so much concerned about the in-house spectators. It seems like you're talking about you know, people streaming online or people watching on TV. But in terms of putting butts in the seats locally at the event,
no, that's important. Obviously, I mean, that's why we're here in an event like E4All. We want to, you know, be part of something that is, you know, big and in the community, and you know, bringing gamers and people who are interested in video games in and exposing ourselves to those types of customers. So absolutely, but the event is, you know, the event business, you know, there's only a finite number of people you can get to an event. But with the advent of the internet and with other media forms like television, you know, you take something that will get thousands of people, but you then are able to show it to millions of people, you know, and that's, you know, that's what it is. So each piece of the property has its role to play. So the event has one role to play, the media has another role to play, the website has another role to play. You know, it's all part of a bigger picture.
So do we find that the media and the viewership online compensates for the United States' inability to produce the numbers of spectators live at local events that maybe Europe or maybe China or maybe Korea or Singapore could fill? I mean, is that why we keep seeing grand finals in America? Is it just, well, we've got these other parts that sort of help facilitate, you know, our standard? You know, does any thought go into, you know, why are we bringing events to America if we can't get people locally in the way we can in other countries?
Because you got to grow it. You got to start somewhere. I mean, you know, the number of people we had at the first event in Korea pales to the number of people we had now. You know, the national finals in Korea, you know, they could get 100,000 people to come to the national final, but they've now shifted their national final to be much more of a made-for-TV event where they get millions of people watching it. So, you know, every environment, every market is different. So, you know, what we're trying to do here in the United States, like I said, is have all those different pieces of it, and, you know, let it keep, you know, building, you know, each element of it.